Alrighty, boys, another episode here in your 20s show. I'm here with the one and only with Danny. Yeah, right?
Yep.
I don't know why I was gonna say Ray.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, I was gonna say Ray himself, but you're from Waukegan.
Yeah, from Joaquin, born and raised.
Okay. How's well, I've interviewed a lot of musicals, yeah, they're from Waukegan. Everyone's from the south side. That's one thing.
I'm from northern part, cause I'm already like borderline with Wisconsin, so yeah, but like north part of Joaquin.
Well, the first time I think I've saw you or heard of you is because of Rambo.
Okay.
Rambo was just like, oh no, yeah, my boy Danny. He talked about when you guys were at Sueños.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna start it off like that. And I'm just like, okay, cool. And me dijo que no, bro, that's my boy. And he showed me a part of your videos. And I'm like, Dan, you can sing. Like I'm actually new into the music, Mexican region of music, right? Saw your videos. I was like, damn, bro, que puedes cantar and que you got him into the Becky G.
Yeah.
How did that even work? How did you even get that connect to go in there?
So it was the thing was that like I was signed with Sony Music, and she's part of the same label. So shout out to my friend Hilario Soto from Texas. He works for Sony as well. And it was random. Like I had a gig. It was like a 15 or something like that. I was with my homie and my dad, and I got a call from him. And it had been a while since I had heard from Sony. It was when we were like trying to leave end the contract. So he called me. He's like, hey, what's up, bro? How are you? I'm like, I'm good. You? He's like, I'm good. He's like, so I need a favor. He's like, I know you're out in Chicago and like siempre te veo que andas like para arriba y para abajo with the artists and stuff like that. I was like, yeah, what's up? He's like, so I don't know if you heard about like Sueños. And honestly, I wasn't really like, I knew of it, but I wasn't really like a big fan. I just knew Grupo Firme was gonna close. And he was like, yeah, so like Becky's gonna perform, and she had just released a song with Peso Pluma, Chanel.
Yeah.
So they're like, we need musicians to go like on stage. It's gonna be like, since it's like last minute, we're just gonna use a track, and we just need like musicians just like pretending to be playing. Like they're gonna sing for real.
So
but
backup.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just backup musicians. And I was like, oh, okay. And I was like, well, I knew what Peso Pluma was playing, right? So I was like, okay, you need trombone, requinto, a guitar, toloche, charchetas. And he was like, yeah, I need that. He's like, try to get me as many musicians as you can. And I had just met La Reserva. We actually met in Vegas at the Junta de Promotores.
Yeah.
And I called Rambo right away. I was like, hey, yo. I was like, I need like a huge favor. Well, actually, before I called him, I called a few musicians, but I couldn't really tell him like what it was for. Just like they told me, just like, hey, just tell him it's just gonna be on a big stage, and that's it. So I was like, okay, yeah. So I called a few musicians, and I was like, hey, yo, it's not gonna be paid, but it's gonna be like a pretty good opportunity. You guys are gonna be playing for an artist. And I was like, and you guys just gotta like pretend to be playing, you know? Like it's not even like playing for real.
So you can't even mess up.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, fuck.
Yeah, right. So they were like, no, I'm busy, blah, blah, blah. I called like 2-3 guys. So then I remembered La Reserva. I had just met La Reserva. So I called Rambo. I was like, hey, yo, Rambo, I need a favor, blah, blah. And then I was like, I'm gonna be straight up with you, bro. It's gonna be at Sueños, and you're gonna be playing with Peso Pluma and Becky G.
Wow.
And he was like, oh, yeah, for sure, blah, blah. He's like, I got you. He's like, let me call Adiel. They were working with a company at the time.
Yeah.
They're like, so we could just like borrow the toloche, and then we got you. I was like, yeah. I was like, but if you guys are gonna like go up there, like I'll get you guys like access, but I gotta go on stage too. Like, you know, like I gotta get some exposure too. He's like, yeah, for sure, I got you. So they let me borrow a guitar. We went on stage, and like it was dope. Like it was a pretty nice opportunity. And then Becky was cool. We met her before, and then since I was like, I'm pretty good friends with Grupo Firme. Their staff saw me there. They're like, oh, you gotta stay with us. You gotta stay. And then I think La Reserva had like a show or something, so they ended up leaving, but I ended up staying with Grupo Firme right there.
Bro, how crazy is it just for the connections and top of that? But I wanted to say, the people that didn't want to do or didn't take that offer was because they probably asked, I'm assuming, is it paid?
Yeah, for sure.
Right, and no one wants to do stuff for free.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's something that, you know, I'm going to touch all over the place just because I feel like you're a big figure in my perspective. You have a story that should be told. Well, bro, no one really wants to start. You're 25, I'm 24. I'm going to be 25 too, right? And no one wants to do stuff for free.
Right.
You started off, obviously, the resume you have is phenomenal.
Thank you.
Correct, right? You didn't start doing this right off the bat.
No. Yeah, I mean, I feel like, I understand from a perspective, like, I hit up a couple musicians that are like pretty known in the Chicago area, so they're not gonna like like they they're trying to get their talents worth, right?
Yeah.
Which is understandable, but like there's sometimes where like you gotta be like, you know what, like this is like an opportunity I have to take to open up a door, you know? Like even if it's just like posting on Instagram, I was on stage at Sueños. Like a lot of people are like, oh shit, like that's different, you know?
Man.
Yeah, for sure. So, I don't know. Like I see it from both perspectives. Like I've personally like always like I haven't made money first. I see the opportunity first, and then money's gonna come later on. So
But that's what I meant though. Like you got it out the mud from first. Like you didn't just enter the stage when they were just like hearing you a silver spoon.
Right.
You actually had to work. Because when I looked through your YouTube, I saw you were posting 7, 8, 10, 11 years ago.
Yeah.
Right. So that means for me that you were putting in work beforehand.
Yeah, I started YouTube. I was like in 6th grade, I think.
Yeah, bro. You were like 11, right?
Yeah.
12.
Yeah.
Fuck, bro. Like, our balls are barely dropping and stuff like that. Shit, bro. We're like, damn.
Yeah. No, I mean, you know, like it all starts with a dream. I had obviously like my parents they pushed me a lot. And not because like it was their dream, it was my dream, you know? Like I started off like everybody just like listening to like our parents' music, whatever. I remember I used to like any like concert I would see on TV. Well, we had the cassettes back then, so I'd tell my dad like, "Hey, record on the cassette," or like, then we had DVRs. I'm like, "Hey, just record it or whatever." And then that'd be like what I'd do after school or on the weekends, just listen to like my favorite music, watching them on stage. Obviously, then we had YouTube and all that come out, and then
We were born in a perfect time.
yeah,
Bro.
oh yeah, exactly.
So the perfect time. iPhone came out too. We were like 7 or 8. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So, I like that was just like my dream, and then my parents saw that I like doing it in public, so they were like, "Oh, like we're gonna support him," and then that's the whole reason why like I'm here, you know, like with my parents' support. But yeah, bro, like it all started like just like a dream, and like it's still a dream, and we're just working for it, you know.
So you like you just said right now, it's still a dream.
Yeah.
At one point, or at what point did you realize that you were just like, you know what, I'm actually making some traction. I'm actually making some noise. I'm actually proud of myself, right?
Yeah.
Some people forget not to live in the moment and just be like, I need to do more, and that's how you get into a cycle, right?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like I just take everything day by day. Obviously, the biggest thing I've done in my career has been like the winning Tengo Talento, Mucho Talento. But like even that, like it started off like just like like it was during pandemic, so like obviously like I said, I've always had like my dad's support, my parents' support. I had already auditioned for Tengo Talento like 4 or 5 times in the past when I was like 13,
Wow.
14. It used to be in person because like they would come like to like a mariscos place, like a seafood restaurant, and they would do it in public. Like you would audition, and if I was like auditioning too, I'd see your audition. It was just like on stage, like a talent show.
Yeah.
So then I would always get like people's like claps or like, hey, you did really good, like keep it up. They're gonna call you for sure, and I would never get the call back, you know.
Wow.
So then the pandemic hits, and then that's when my dad was like, hey, I saw a commercial, like Tengo Talentos doing like a special edition, someone like Sony Music or something like that. And I was like, oh, okay. I was like, I'll do it. But like, I'm like, man, I don't even know how that show works. Like, cause you see, like, it's like every other show. You see like really good, talented people, and then people that they're just making fun of, you know?
No, 100%.
So I was like, supposedly, like everyone's saying I'm good. Like whenever I audition, then I never get the call back. So I don't know how it works. So I was just like, forget it. So I didn't do it. I didn't upload anything. And then I think it was like the last week, my dad told me again, he's like, hey, like just do it. You're not going to lose anything. We used to have to drive all the way to Chicago. Like in the winter, usually they like to audition. All you have to do is like post a video because it was the pandemic.
Right.
I wasn't performing at the time. Obviously, everything was like shut down. So I was like, all right. Because I used to sing with like karaoke at the time, restaurants and all that. And then I didn't want to do it, so I was just like, I just downloaded one of my old YouTube videos and I just uploaded that. I like sent it, and I was like, I didn't even make a new one. I just like cut it because I used to do like an intro and outro.
Yeah.
I cut that and I just put the song.
And they accepted you.
Yeah, and then I get the call back and they were like, hey, yo, we're calling from Tengo Talento. We really liked your audition. Do you want to do like a Zoom audition?
Aww.
And I was like, I didn't really get hyped up because I'm like, it's the same shit, you know?
Yeah.
So I was like, all right, whatever. But I was really sick at the time. I had a strep throat, I think.
Strep throat or COVID?
No, I think it was strep throat. I got COVID after that, or actually before that. I forgot.
Damn. Okay.
But yeah, so I had already had that, but it was like strep. And then obviously I couldn't like really like sing. So I was like, all right, like I'll do the Zoom. So I do the Zoom, My Wi-Fi like sucked. I don't know why that day it was just like lagging all over the place. And I ended up singing like a really basic song. It's called Disculpe Usted.
Okay.
And I just sang it like really low. Me gusta mucho que le lleves a another. And then the guy was like, wow. He's like, I really liked it. And I was just like, man, this is probably like the shittiest audition like I've ever done. And then he was like, well, it's not up to me. He's like, it's up to the producers. The same thing they always tell you. They're like, if we like you, you'll be called like within 8 weeks. But the thing about that, when they called me for the Zoom call, I told them, I was like, can we do it another day? Because I'm really sick. Because they're like, you have to do it tomorrow. And they're like, no. They're like, we actually already started recording the show. So like, if you were to make it, like, you're going to be one of the last ones to audition.
Yeah.
In LA. So that's why when he said, we'll call you back like within 8 weeks, I was like, I think this might be like BS, you know?
Yeah.
So I was like, whatever. I didn't think about it. I was working at Walgreens at the time. And I was in college. And then, so one day, I think it was like a Sunday or something. I was home and then I get the call and it said like LA and I thought it was like a scam. So like I like clicked it. And then I left it. And then I get a text from that same number and it said, hey, mi nombre es Claudia, soy de Tengo Talento, Mucho Talento, like whatever. And I was just like, and then, so I tried calling back and the number wouldn't go through. It was just like one of those numbers that they could only call.
Yeah.
So I was like, man, I was like, so how am I supposed to get in contact with these people? So then I text back. I'm like, can you please call me back? Like, I didn't think it was you guys or whatever. So they called me back. They're like, hey, so we really liked your audition. Can you come to LA? And I was like, yeah, when? They're like, this week, like Thursday, an example.
Wow.
So I was just like, oh shit. I was like, well, I have to call. Like, I was like, yeah, no, like I'll deal with it. I'll to like let them know at school and at work.
Right.
So I ended up flying out. And then at Walgreens, my manager at the time, yeah, we support you 100%. Take all the time you need. Go. So I did the audition, and then that's when I was like, you know what? Like I'm just gonna use it for like experience. I didn't have the mentality of like, oh, I'm gonna win, or like, nah. I was chilling. So I went there, and
it
then
didn't hit you yet then. So
Yeah,
like,
no.
You were like, this isn't real. You were just you were still in that phase where like, it's whatever. It is what it is mindset.
Yeah, like I mean, I obviously like I was grateful. Like I thank God, and I was like, you know, like this isn't an opportunity everyone gets.
Right.
Because from Chicago, I think like 2-3 people had gone, like singers, like that
From the whole show.
that I knew. Yeah,
Okay.
like from the Chicago area.
Wow.
They had gone on the show. And then that's when I was like, I ended up just like, you know what? Que sea lo que Dios quiera. I'm grateful, but I'm just gonna vibe. I'm just gonna do my thing, and then if it, si me toca, y si no, no.
Okay.
So I was just like, I sang the first song, but then this is when like things started lining up. They sent me a list of like 3 songs. They're like, pick whichever you like, and then you're gonna sing that song for the audition. And I didn't know any of those 3 songs, bro. Like I didn't know any of them. So I was like, man, I guess I'll pick the one that like sounds decent, like,
Right.
when I sing it. And then I picked this one Remy Valenzuela song that I had never. It was a cover. I had never like heard it before.
What were the other 2 though?
I forgot, but there were like some like super old songs like Miguel y Miguel, like from like the 80s, like 70s, 80s. So I was just like, okay, I'll just pick this one because it's like a banda song.
Yeah.
I'm used to singing like banda norteño.
How long did they let you?
Like a week.
A week prior?
Yeah, like maybe 5 days.
Okay.
So I was just like, okay, like I'll rehearse it. I rehearsed it, bro. I never once like learned the song. I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna do this, but it's a free flight to LA. I'm just gonna vibe. So I ended up going, and then things started lining up because like before the show, like I was with a person like you, like that, like with the laptop, they were interviewing me, right? They're like, oh, so what do you like to do? I'm like, sing. And they're like, what else?
So I'm here.
Yeah, they're like, what else do you like to do? Like, I was like, well, I go to school and I work. They're like, what do you do outside of like school and work? And I'm like, I sing. And they're like, but I'm like, I perform like with karaoke, local events, restaurants, quinceañeras, festivals, all that.
Where did you go to school for though?
It's the community college.
Okay.
I was doing getting my business administration degree.
Oh, okay.
An associate's.
Yeah.
So they're like, oh, so what do you like playing soccer? Do you like, I don't know, drawing? What do you like to do? I'm like, I just like music. I record myself. You know, I had a friend that he gave me Logic Pro X. He had the software and he gave it to me.
Yeah.
So I was like, I just like recording myself. I make YouTube videos. That's about it. And they're like, well, they're kind of telling me like, damn, bro, you're boring. Like you don't do anything interesting. But, like, you just sing. And then they were like, so what have you done like with your music? And I was like, oh, like I've sang con los Tigres del Norte, con Gerardo Ortiz, Regulo Carro, Roberto Tapia, La Arrolladora, blah, blah. They're like, oh, shit. They're like, then it got kind of interesting.
Yeah.
They're like, how'd you get to do that? And I'm like, well, I just like going to concerts, and then I just like take the opportunity. I'm like, can I sing a song with you? And then it goes from there.
You just ask these people to sing a song and they say,
I'll just like write it on my phone or something.
For real? You just like, yo, like,
yeah,
can I sing with you?
Mis sueños cantar contigo or whatever.
And te suben también?
Yeah, they
Fuck.
and I
know that.
I would do that. So I would use it for content. I would put it on YouTube.
Yeah.
So then they were like, okay, now you're interesting, right? So then I go and I rehearse for like the audition. They were like, we just want to make sure you sound good with the mic, everything. Like I was on stage. And they were like, luckily a producer was there. His name is Mauro. Salupa, compa Mauro. He was like the executive producer, like on Tengo Talento, Mucho Talento. And for a few other shows on Estrella TV. And he hears me and he like stares at me. He's like, because I didn't know the song, bro. I was like rehearsing it and I was just like,
damn.
Yeah, so.
Is it that hard to like learn a song like entero or no?
Honestly,
were you nervous?
No, I just didn't like the song, bro. I didn't connect with it. So it was hard for me to learn a song I don't like.
Okay.
So I was like, so he stops the music and he grabs a mic and he's like, hey, he was like, ¿Te sabes la canción? And I was like, no. And he was like, I was like, no porque no quiera. I was like, honestly, like, nomás me dieron 5 días y pues la verdad yo esta canción nunca la había escuchado. Like, I don't know the song. So I was like, I'm practicing every day. I was like, but I'm just not getting it. And he was like, and he like looks at the little script and it said like all that I had sing with all these like artists. And he's like, ¿Ya cantaste con Gerardo Ortiz? And I was like, yeah. He's like, ¿Cuál te sabes de Gerardo Ortiz? I was like, I don't know. They're like, one that's not basic, one that's not like what everyone listens to. And I was like, he did a cover de una canción de Julieta Venegas que se llama Me Voy. ¿Por qué no supiste entender a mi corazón?
Yeah.
So he was like, do you have that track? And I was like, I do. I was like, but I have it at home. And he was like, he's like, it's not on YouTube. I was like, they took it down. And then, so I called my dad. Hey, get on the laptop. I don't know how I explained everything. I was like, go on documents. It's in this folder, blah, blah.
Email that motherfucker.
Yeah, send it right now. He ended up like doing it like in like, he's like, you have like 10 minutes, dude. Like, go do it.
Damn.
He sends me the track and it was like a song I knew from like.
No,
like,
yeah.
100%. I always put it in my shows. So then he was like, all right, you'll sing that one. I was like, oh, thank God. I was like, maybe it's a sign que me va a ir bien, you know? So I did the audition and like on the judges, it was Pepe Garza, Chiquis, Don Cheto, and
Luis Coronel, no? Or was he the host?
No, he was a host. It was Ana Bárbara.
Okay.
So then I did the show and everyone liked it. And then Pepe Garza was like, nah, like you seem too much like you're trying to imitate Gerardo Ortiz. He was like, even the way you're moving. And I mean, obviously, like, you know, like it's like people I grew up or that I like looked up to. So obviously like a little hand gesture.
Copy them, yeah.
Yeah, it's like, it's like second nature. Yeah. And so I was just like, oh, I guess. And he was like, nah, I'm not going to give you like el pase. And then the other 3 judges did. So I passed. But the thing was, like, I didn't really get my hopes up because they told us outside right before, like, you went to record. They're like, if you get 3 passes or more, 3 or 4, that doesn't mean you're coming back. We're going to look at the ratings and because every
fan favorites, right?
Yo, no. Well, basically what they would do is like they would put like, because there wasn't any voting or anything.
Okay.
They would post like your audition on their social media. So like after it came out on TV, they would like post it right away on TikTok and like on Instagram.
Right.
So like whoever, like depending on how many likes you got, how many comments, like
polls.
Yeah.
Okay.
If they saw that you got some kind of rating, you're coming back. You can get four passes, and if no one's sharing anything or if no one's commenting, like you're just like people are just like, oh, okay, whatever you sing.
Yeah.
You're not getting a call back. So I was like, man, they had me. So like I passed, but technically it was just like a waiting game.
Yeah. Which is for TV, for content.
Yeah. So I was just like, you know what? Like as soon as the audition came out, I think I gained like 2,000 followers, like right away.
Right.
As soon as I came out on TV. So I was like, you know what? Like that's my win.
Mhm.
Like I got some exposure. Now I gotta take like advantage and like post covers or whatever, so people like are still like
Right.
engaged.
Consistent. Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, like I'll do that. And then I was working at Walgreens, and I was like, man, am I gonna get that call back? Gonna get that call back? I was like, I didn't. It's not like I wanted to go back, but I wanted to know if I was going or not. I just didn't want to have that like curiosity, you know. So I ended up calling them, like one of the producers or one of the ladies that was in charge there. Her name is Claudia.
Uh-huh.
I called her. I was like, hey, Claudia. I was like, I'm sorry to bother you. I was like, I look, just want to know if I'm gonna get called back. She was like, well, honestly, you're not on the list. They're like, we already started calling people back. They're like, but just like wait, maybe. They're like, but you're not on the list. I was just like, okay.
How many people were they though? How many auditions?
Well, it had been already like 3 weeks of auditions, so it was like a lot of people. A lot of people.
Okay.
So then, I went back to work, and they asked me. They're like, hey, are you gonna have to go back to LA? And I was like, I don't think so. I was like, I called them, and they said that maybe not. I was like, because I'm not like on the producers list. They're like, oh, okay, whatever. The next day she called me. She's like, I don't know what. She's like, but you're on the list. She's like, you like start packing. You're gonna come back in like 3-4 days. So then Walgreens was like flexible, right? They're like, no, yeah. But I don't think they thought I was gonna win, and neither did I, honestly.
Walgreens, your employees at Walgreens?
Yeah, because they were being supportive, but they were just like, yeah, go. And then when they saw I was leaving for like a long time, they were like, hey, yo, like, you gotta work,
You gonna
man.
make it, bro.
You got a schedule, like, hey, come on, like,
Yeah.
Because I would be like, oh, they put obviously like a 2-week schedule, and the following week I'd be gone, because I had to like they would call me like, hey, yo, come back.
Right.
So then it was like that, bro, and like just like I don't want to make it too much about that, but yeah, like I said, it wasn't really my intention to win. Obviously once like the semifinals got here, like ya que eran las finales, well, si le eché más ganas, right? But I was just honestly like I didn't really like. I would see some people that were like, because we all stayed in the same hotel. Oh no, yeah, nomás fue a comer y se metió a ensayar y whatever. Which like I'm really disciplined when it comes to that.
The work ethic.
Yeah. So like as soon as I knew my song, I would learn until like practice until I got it.
Yeah.
And then after that, I would just vibe. I would just like be hanging out with like I'm meeting all these people that were sharing. Because the thing about that season, Tengo Talento, Mucho Talento is like any talent. So you could be a magician, you could be a comedian, you could be
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, a singer, anything you want. But that season was dedicated just to singers.
Okay.
Because of the whole thing with Sony. So the thing was like, if you won, there was gonna be 5 winners, and they were gonna make the first boy band like in Regional Mexicano and sign with Sony.
Okay.
So that's why like I wasn't really like, honestly, I wasn't like, oh, I want to win, because I was like, then I would have to belong to a group.
Yeah.
And I really didn't want to do that.
Was there any point like you were nervous or you were gonna mess up something?
Yeah, after like when it was I think the only time I was like super nervous was obviously la final, but just because like I had chosen the Grupo Firme song. Grupo Firme was barely popping. Like they were already like mainstream, so everyone was
I saw this clip. That's when his brother came out también.
Yeah, right. So I had chosen that song without knowing they were gonna be there. So every week they would have like a guest host or a guest judge.
Okay.
And I picked that one. I was like, cause so during the pandemic was like the first time I started hanging out with my friends, because ever since I was 11, I was like performing every weekend, you know, like in restaurants, quinceañeras, festivals. So the weekends weren't really like to hang out with my friends. It was to work. And then obviously go to school like throughout the week. So then when pandemic hit, that's when I started hanging out with my friends, because we didn't have anything to do.
Right.
There was no school, there was no work, there was nothing. So we would started drinking, you know. I had just turned 21, so it was like the first time that I started like, you know, hanging out with my friends.
Experimenting with that.
Yeah, having a few drinks or whatever, and that's the only thing we had, music. So we started listening to like everything that was popping at the time. Grupo Firme, there was Márcame Pe, like all these new groups that were coming out, right? Karim León. And then there was this one song that Grupo Firme released, and it's not like one of their hits, but it hit when it came out. It was called La Estoy Pasando Mal.
Okay.
And I remember que con esa canción yo la cantaba y I could reach like my full potential.
Mm-hmm.
So para la final, they're like, okay, they're like, we're gonna choose 3 songs, and if we're able to give you one of those, we'll give you one of those. If not, we'll give you random. So it was like you didn't know if you were gonna get one you chose or one that they were gonna give you.
Yeah.
So luckily, I got that one. And then the day of the recording, the morning, they're like, "Do you guys know who like the guest judge is gonna be?" We're like, "Who?" They're like, "Edwin Cas from Grupo Firme." I was like, "Oh fuck!" Like I'm gonna have to
Sing in front of him.
and sing in front of him.
Yeah.
You know, like it's one thing singing like a hard song, but singing in front of the original artist is like they have like a like what do you call it, like a
Hierarchy or what?
yeah,
Okay.
like they're
Status.
yeah, they have like a standard, you know, like you're gonna sing my song, but sing it right.
So he's like an idol for you.
Yeah.
In your point.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Honestly, I have a lot of respect for him as a person, as an artist, his work ethic, how quickly he came like to the top,
Bro.
but like all the work he did before. So I was just like, you know what, like he's one of the top dogs right now. Like I got to make this sound good, you know, clean. So I ended up singing that song, but that's the only reason why I was really nervous. It wasn't even about like winning or losing or anything. It was just like sounding good for like the original artist, you know. And yeah, thank God, like he liked it a lot. His brother did too, and like the whole all the judges, they really liked it a lot. And then from there, ahí empezó la amistad con Edwin Casa and all the Grupo Firme people.
And you won that was the last episode, right?
Yeah,
You won the whole show.
I won, and then from there, they came to Chicago right away. It was right when the pandemic like ended.
Mm-hmm.
They came to Chicago in Joliet. It's like a race car, like
2022,
it's like a
2021,
track.
right?
Yeah.
Okay. So when you got signed to Sony, this is kind of the interesting part. People think like that's the lottery ticket, right? That's not the case, right? You just get the name, but you don't really get a contract with the money wise and then connections, maybe, depending on your contract with the show, right?
So with us, like I said, it was like a special edition. So when I auditioned, they set down like the rules, the contracts, everything. They're like, if you win, there's a cash prize, which is like every year it was just a cash prize, but then from there you're on your own.
Okay. Fair.
So then they're like, there's a cash prize that's gonna be split between the 5 of the winners, and then a contract with Sony. But if you don't sign with Sony, you don't get the cash prize. So which is understandable, you know, because at the end of the day, like
it's going investment to them either way. You're paying them, right? It's going back into the industry.
Yeah, I mean, no, not really, because the cash prize is for you, right?
Okay.
The cash prize is for you, but you have to sign with Sony, because at the end of the day, that's what they're promoting, right?
Right.
You're getting a contract with Sony, so if you're not signing, no estás cumpliendo, pues.
That's it.
So they're not gonna give you the prize.
How long was the contract for?
It's just one album with an option of 4 more, so 5 total. But like the thing was like it's a rare but really good contract because it's one for sure to
push you out,
to get you started, and then we'll see si tanto te conviene a ti como empresa, to Sony, o al artista. So after that first album is done, they're gonna be like, okay, you know what, you did good numbers. Here's another
second album deal.
Album deal, but they're all separate. Okay. But if I don't want to sign no more, then I'm gone. I don't. You're not tied.
Right.
So that's why it was a good contract. But yeah, like I mean, it's you learn a lot from that because obviously like when
I'm 21, 22, bro.
Yeah, I'm 21. And honestly they gave us like a really good deal, like a good advance and everything. And they treated us really good. Right. So the only thing that you do learn, the main thing I got out of it is like how you said, a lot of people hear like, oh shit, like you're signed with Sony, so you're up top, which is true, but it's not true because at the end of the day, you could be someone from the street that gets signed to Sony, but if no one knows you, what's the point of you being with Sony? You know, like
100%. You're
still releasing music, but I mean, I might as well release it as an independent if no one knows me. The plus about being with a label like that is obviously they have the power to like put you in people's in the spotlight. So as soon as we sign, we released the first song called No Andes Con Nadie.
Okay.
And our producer was Luciano Luna, which is like one of the top songwriters, producers in Mexico right now. He's producing for like Chiquis, Jenny Rivera's daughter.
Yeah.
He's doing the production for like a lot of Jenny's unreleased songs.
Wow.
So he's doing the production on that right now. He's worked with Gerardo Ortiz, Julión Álvarez, like the top dogs. So when they said like we were gonna work with Luciano, like it was funny because
dream come true.
Yeah, it was funny because during the pandemic, like I said, no one was doing anything, so he would do lives, and I would connect. I'd be like, Luciano, like es mi sueño, like grabar una canción tuya. Ojalá podamos trabajar en el futuro. And like months later, I'm working with him in the studio.
Damn.
So it was really, really cool. But going back to the whole Sony thing, being with Sony was awesome because, like I said, we released that first single, and right away we were like in top 30 on Billboard, like in the Billboard charts. I remember we were like on, obviously because Tucanes had released un corrido like in that time, so it had been like dying down the hype. So we were on top of Tucanes. I think we were like 27, they were like 28, something like that.
Like Danny.
No, so like we signed as a group, so it was a nuevo elemento. So like we didn't know each other,
Yeah.
but we were the 5 winners, so we created the grupo called Nuevo Elemento. Yeah, so we were top 30 right away. Amazon Music was just starting like going crazy like with their platform, with Amazon Music giving it a lot of attention. So they gave us like a sponsorship. So we did this, I don't know what to call it. It was like a program called Rompe.
Okay.
So it was like a playlist that they made with like all these new upcoming artists, and they had us as the face of Rompe. So they put us like in Times Square, like on a billboard.
Oh, wow,
They
dope.
did one in LA, one in Mexico City. So we were doing like pretty good things. Why? Because it's Sony, right?
Right.
It was Sony. So then the thing that you learn was that we got signed to a management company. Their name is Saytrack.
Okay.
Saytrack, salud para todos allá. Mari, Luana, everyone that was working with us over there. Really good company. They managed at the time. They still do. Alejandro Fernandez. They were managing Cristian Nodal at the time. Jos Favela. A whole bunch of like top dogs, right?
Right.
The thing about us was that like obviously we were like an upcoming group. We were starting from scratch. So these companies, management companies, obviously when they sign a name, like when we were there, they signed Alejandro Sanz in Spain. So like obviously when you sign an artist like that, like he sells himself, you know? Like it's like if they tell you right now, hey, we want you to be Luis Miguel's manager.
Right.
Like obviously, like I don't have any experience, but it's gonna be easy to sell Luis Miguel because it's Luis Miguel, right?
Luis Miguel.
So the same thing with us. But since no one knew us, it was like hard because they're like, we have to start putting you guys in like in people's like sight.
Yeah.
So I think that was the issue, that like people didn't know who we were. Another big factor was that we all lived in separate parts. So obviously I was from here, from the Chicago area, from Waukegan. One of my other band members, one was from like Mexicali, the other one was in Mexico City, and another one was in Brownsville, Texas. You know, salud para todos.
It's just crazy. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but it's just so crazy how everything, there's just so many levels, because what you're explaining right now, you've done all this stuff, but when you're inside the business, there's still more to do to actually reach the job and make money.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, everything goes hand in hand for sure. So what I learned from that was that like, just because you're signed with the record label, doesn't mean that your success is guaranteed, right?
100%.
So obviously, like right there, we were signed with 2 companies, Sony on the recording side and Saytrack on the management side. So Saytrack as a management company, they were in charge of getting us gigs, getting us promotion deals, putting us in awards, basically putting us like on like
Promoting you
Yeah,
guys.
promoting us.
Yeah.
Exactly. The only thing that Sony had to do, like as a record label, is record your music. That's it, and release it. That's literally the only thing they had to do.
Do they get you to like features too? Because you
Yeah,
said
yeah.
Becky G's involved. Peso Pluma is also on Sony, no? Or not mistaken?
No, Peso's. I think he's independent now.
Okay.
He was with Rancho Humilde, I think.
Could you like, so like, would they connect you with like Becky? There's more than Becky G, but she's the first one that pops in my head.
Yeah, I mean at the time. Well, now está Eden Muñoz. He's signed with Sony. Jos Favela. Gerardo Ortiz, all those artists. But yeah, obviously it's way easier because you're in the same label.
And you're still with Sony right now to this day?
Oh, no, we already ended that chapter. Right now I'm independent.
Okay.
But the thing with Sony was that, so like obviously like they would have like the Grammys or whatever, and they would invite us to like all these events with Spotify, Amazon, all these Apple Music. And then their artists would come, right? They would take Jos Favela, then Muñoz, Gerardo Ortiz, and then obviously they would take Nuevo Elemento.
Right.
So we'd be in the same room, and then we got to meet them. We ended up getting a song from Jos Favela, and he was like, "Yeah, like I got you guys with the song." And then Muñoz gave us another song, like you know, like we were like with all these top dogs, and obviously it's easier because you're signed under the same label.
Uh-huh.
But But yeah, bro, I mean, honestly, you learn a lot in the process, and it was a really good experience. Like, I don't have any regrets signing with them to this day. Like, when we ended the contract, it was like a mutual thing.
Right.
And
But,
there were,
but what is the biggest mistake then for signing a contract for someone our age? You know?
I mean, you just got to be smart and get it read, man. All right, like, so as soon as we got offered the contract, the first thing we did, we got a lawyer, Osvaldo Rossi, with salud para ella. He does he's a lawyer for like Juan Luis Guerra.
Oh, sure.
For what's this guy's name? But Bad Bunny's producer.
Oh, wow.
So like, yeah, so he's like Regulo Caro. So like, I already knew Regulo from before, and then when we saw that we had the same lawyer, like, he got us on a call. He's like, hey, you know Danny? Yeah, Regulo, he's my client too, whatever. So yeah, that was the first thing we did. We got a lawyer. He read the contract. We negotiated like 3 months, going back and forth, so it was negotiable. But yeah, just get it signed, know what you're getting yourself into, and that way you don't have any surprises. Honestly, with us, we didn't have any surprises. We knew what we were signing up for, and that's what we got. You know, like, it was a chance we were going to take, a chance that the record company was going to take. That's why they were like, you know what, it's one for sure. If this goes well, we'll offer you a different contract for like more money and then whatever. So we ended up doing 3 EPs with them. No, 2 EPs and 1 album.
Wow.
So I had a good time. I know my band members had a really good time too, and it's like I said, it's an experience that like nothing is gonna ever like make me think like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have done that. Like, there's no regrets.
But it seems like from 2020 up to this day, everything's been going well, right? But also too, I'm aware too, in 2013, around that time when you were 13, you sang with Julión Alvarez.
Yep.
Like I said, how do you get into these networks? Obviously, there's always a way.
Yeah.
But like, coming from you, how do you get into these strong networks at such a young age? Because dude, you're 13 years old, and Julión Álvarez was already popping in 2010, 2011. So how do you get the courage to just be like, hey, quiero cantar uno?
Yeah, so that was the thing. So I want to give a shout out to Alex Garza, Vanguardia's manager.
Oh, shoot.
We were working with him too. The thing is, I didn't know him at the time. Like, I just went just because I was a fan of Julión. That's it.
Yeah.
One of my friends, he was older than me, obviously. He was a friend of the family. He invited me because he knew I liked he took me to my first Gerardo Ortiz concert and then the Julión concert. And he told me, he's like, hey, it's going to be my birthday. Let's go. Like, I'll take you. I was like, okay, cool. So, for whatever reason, we were getting ready for the event, and then he got a call that like one of his cousins had passed away in a car accident. So obviously he's like, you know what, I can't go. I'm just gonna give you the tickets. I don't know how you're gonna go, but like, just find someone that's down to go, and then just go with it. I don't know why I didn't tell my dad, now that I'm thinking about it. But I ended up inviting like one of my friends from school. She sang too. And she was like, yeah. She said, but who's going to take us? And
You're 14.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like 13, 12, 13, around there. So she was like, you know what? I'll just tell my cousin. He could just buy his ticket and he could just take us. And we're like, yeah, cool. So I think she bought her ticket because she was getting hers for free or something.
Okay.
But he ended up going with us. He was like 18 at the time, 19. So we went. It was in Wisconsin, and I had seen Gerardo Ortiz at that venue. And then that day, we were just in the crowd, and I always like getting like as close as I can. And then she was like, I'm gonna go dance with my cousin. She's like, I'll be back. I was like, okay. So I think they got lost or whatever. Like, it was a huge crowd. So I ended up staying by myself the whole time. Julión came out and everything, and I was just by myself. And I was, like I said, 12, 13. So I was really thirsty because it was like in March. It was so cold outside, but like since everyone was like dancing and all this, like it was getting like super humid. So I was like sweating and I was just like super thirsty. And I remember seeing like these 2 guys, and they had a table, and they obviously had their bottle and stuff like that, and they had like a big like container with water. And I think some water bottles, and I poked the guy, and I was just like, hey dude, I was like, can I have one of your water bottles, or I'll buy it off you? I was like, I'm just thirsty. He kind of like laughed, and he gave me the water bottle. He was like, hey, I've been seeing you. He's like, you've been like singing all the songs. He's like, you like to sing? I was like, yeah. And I didn't know he had been like looking at me. And he was like, you like to sing? I was like, yeah. He's like, you want to sing with Julión? And I was like, yeah. He's like, all right, go. And I hadn't sang with any artist before this, right? So he's like, all right, I'm going to bring you into the VIP. He's like, but if you don't sing, I'm going to put you back. I was like, oh, okay, cool. And that was Alex. Y ya, te digo, I had no idea who he was or anything like that. So he pulls me into VIP and he takes me all the way to the front. And I start telling Julión, hey, like, quiero cantar. And, like, right away, he, like, stared at me. And then he was like, yeah, espérate. I was like, okay. And then some, like, little kid came up and he started singing. And I was like, nah, he's not going to let me because he already, like, let some other kid sing, right? And, like, I mean, not to talk bad or anything, but, like, the dude, you could tell, like, he just liked to sing, but he wasn't, like, he was just, he had the microphone over here. He was, like, screaming and just, like, running everywhere.
Performance. He didn't perform.
So I was just like, man, I was like, that could have been me. I was like, whatever. But I was tripping because I didn't want him to put me back into general admission. You know? I was seeing Julión right here. And then, like, a few songs passed, and then he brought out another group called Maquinaria Norteña.
Okay.
And they sang a couple songs. I was like, nah, he already let the kids sing. He brought out, like, this group. He's like, I'm like, he's not going to let me sing. And the song that I wanted to sing, he had already performed it.
Which was?
It's called Olvídame. It was, like, his first, his big hit, the first one. So, pasó y, like, whatever. After a while, like, I told him again, I was like, man, I'm not going to lose anything, right? So I told him again, he's like, vente. Y que empieza la banda, param, parara. Y toda la gente, like, pues era, it was his biggest hit at the time. So everyone started, like cheering, and then he, like, just gives me the mic, and he's like, go ahead. And I start singing, olvídame si ya no me quieren. And then he just, like, looked at me, and he was just like, and then I kept singing, and I turned around, because I was like, maybe he wants to sing too. He was like, no, dale. Y ya canté la canción, y and he, like, he hugs me, he's like, cantas bien chingón. He's like, sigue echando ganas. He's like, nunca te rindas, échale ganas. And I was just like, okay. I was like, can I take a picture with you? And he's like, yeah, I take the picture. Y ya, that was the first time que canté con él. Like 2 weeks later, I had already, like, auditioned for La Voz Kids.
You also auditioned to that?
Yeah, so it was like 2 weeks later. So I read a little story to say, like, for the show 2 weeks ago, canté con Julión Álvarez, right? Okay, nothing happened from La Voz. Like, I just became friends with Roberto Tapia, which was one of the coaches.
Right.
Y ya de ahí, like, siempre me ha gustado buscar la manera, like, like, you don't lose anything. Like, I forgot who I heard, but they were like, the no's already guaranteed.
Yeah.
So you might as well just go for it, right?
Yes.
So after the La Voz Kids thing, no one turned around for me. I wasn't part of any team. And I, like, would DM, like, random, like, artists or whatever. So I DM'd Roberto Tapia. Hey, yo fui el que canté La Puerta Negra. Vas a venir a Chicago. Ojalá me puedas invitar a cantar contigo, blah, blah. And right away, he DM'd me back. He was like, sí, ¿cómo no? Sí me acuerdo de ti. He was like, yeah, voy a estar ahí en septiembre. Te voy a invitar a cantar conmigo en la Plaza Garibaldi. Let's go.
What year was this?
2014, around there. I was like,
bro, you were young. We were,
like 14.
Bro.
Yeah, so I it was like 2013. So I was like 13, 14.
So he was like trendy and popular.
Yeah,
I mean,
he was, yeah. Y ya fue the first time that I sang at Plaza Garibaldi. It was with him. Y de ahí, that's how it's been with, like, all the artists. Con Gerardo Ortiz igualmente. I was, hey, yo.
Question, though. Since you were so young, I know this is what pops in my head. Was there ever a moment or someone was scared for you since you're maturing and still hitting puberty, your voice would change over time?
You know what? I actually never experienced that because I don't know if it's because I was singing that I was, like, just practicing or whatever, but I never noticed, like, any, like, squeaks or, like, anything, like, harsh on my voice. And I think it's because I was performing. Obviously, I noticed that after a while that I'm like, hey, I can't hit that note anymore, so le tengo que bajar el tono. But I never experienced, like, oh, no, I can't sing. No. Because that whole time I was going through puberty, I was performing.
Yeah.
So I never experienced that. But obviously there was that, like, my mom or my dad, they'd be like, hey, te va a cambiar la voz, or that people in general, like, even haters, they'd be like, oh, yeah, he's singing right now because he's, like, 12 years old, but watch him be, like 16, 17, and then his voice is going to change. And no, y nunca sentí eso. Yeah, like, obviously, pues, con el tiempo, I was like, oh, shit. Like, I would hear videos and I'd be like, damn, like, I sound, like, super, like, squeaky there or whatever. But I never, like felt those, like hard changes now.
Okay. So when you hear, like, the criticisms and when you're, dude, you were so young. So imagine all the positive stuff, like you said, you were hearing, right?
Yeah.
So also, too, with the negative comments at 14, 15, how do you even take that, too, at that total mindset? You're still a kid.
I think también fue, like, part of the thing was that I didn't do it with the intention of being, like, well, yeah, obviously my dream was like, oh, yeah, hopefully I'm performing on stages and doing what, like, my idols are doing. But I also did it, like, as in, like, for the experience or just because I had a love for music, you know? So whenever people would, like, talk, like say anything like negative, and just brush it off. Obviously, like 2, 3 things that maybe probably like hurt my feelings or whatever. But I'm like, it's part of the thing. I'm like, as long as they're talking about me, like it's promo, you know?
You're doing
Like,
something
yeah,
good.
yeah,
You're
so it's
doing
good.
something good.
So obviously, like on YouTube, because the like earliest YouTube videos on there, like those were my first ones. I deleted a whole bunch of like videos from like when I was first starting. I had like a little webcam and I would just like super horrible like quality.
You could have been Mr. Beast, bro. What the hell?
Yeah, so but it was just like, you know, like out of love. And then once I started like taking it like serious, like I always like playing around like with my laptop. So like I had like iMovie, so I started messing around with that, and then I learned how to like edit my videos, you know, like put a little title, like whatever. And then I'm like, oh, I could just record the audio too and just like match it, like, you know, just like add it. So and I learned how to do all that. So I was like, I would look at my old videos and I just deleted everything. I was just like, nah, like I'm just gonna like do it right, you know. So then that's how it was. But yeah, like a lot of those videos would have like those like hater comments, like, oh, like you suck, like you sing like a girl, whatever. Just like those fake profiles people use
Will
to.
be like I sang with Julión Alvarez, man. What are you
Yeah.
gonna tell me? Also too with Tigres del Norte, ¿verdad?
Yeah, yeah. So with Tigres, it was the same thing.
Big
It was the
people.
same thing, man. So with Gerardo, it was different because I want to give a shout out también para mi amigo Hugo Tapia from Promociones Tapia. He saw it. He told me una vez, he's like, ¿sabes lo que me gusta de ti? He's like, eres bien, ¿cómo me dijo? Bien terco. Dice que, like, a huevo, like, estás tocando puertas, estás buscando la oportunidad. He's like, eso me gusta de ti, por eso te apoyo. Y con él, I told him una vez, I recorded, like, on my laptop, man, on, like, I think it was, like, GarageBand.
Okay.
I recorded, like, I downloaded some tracks and just, like, recorded my voice, and I made, like, a little CD. And I told him, I was like, hey, I recorded this album, like, I want to give it to Gerardo Ortiz. Oh, Simón. Y me llevó hasta con él, y por eso fue con él. Pero con los Tigres del Norte, it was the same thing, like, the same thing as, like, I was always doing. Obviously, con los Tigres del Norte was different porque those have been my idols since day one. Like, the first song I learned was probably La Puerta Negra, you know, like, desde niño, my dad, his brother, my tío Esteban, my grandpa, they were all, like, fans of los Tigres del Norte, so that's what I grew up listening to.
Wow.
So, like I said, I've been performing since I was, like, 12, 11. So all the money I started making, I would just spend it at concerts. I didn't have anything, like,
Yeah, bro,
any
kids.
responsibilities, you know? So,
With the same grupo, with the same band, or how did that develop over time?
no, I would just sing with karaoke.
That's it?
Yeah, yeah,
Straight up?
I would just perform and just put my tracks and perform like that.
At what moment did you start getting like a little group together? Or you used to do karaoke now to this day?
No, well, ever since the whole Sony thing with Tengo Talento,
Yeah.
cuando se terminó el contrato, I was like, I'm gonna redo the solo thing, pero ahora con un grupo. Because obviously before, like, I would tell all these like musicians, hey, yo, let's start a group. Yeah, I'm down. I'm like, but I'm gonna be a soloist. You guys are just gonna like play backup. No, así no. Si quieres ser un grupo, bien. He's like, but we're not gonna be like your musician.
Yeah.
So after the whole Sony thing, ya empezaron a salir músicos. Hey, yo, si quieres, jálate para acá. Okay, ya está. It was easier.
Yeah.
So anyway, like going back to the whole Tigres thing, te digo, I think I was 15 at the time, and they usually would come to Chicago like once a year or whatever. And then ever since I was like 8, my dad would take me to like Plaza Garibaldi to go see Los Tigres, you know? Me ponía like on his shoulders. I'd be like just listening to Los Tigres, see my idols. Y total que, I was like 15, no, I was like 16. Oh no, my bad, I was 17. I was just about to graduate high school.
Okay.
They came to Milwaukee to the rave. The next day they were gonna be in Waukegan, and the Sunday they were gonna. It was like Easter weekend,
Okay.
and Sunday they were gonna play. I think like in Markham or something like that. And so I was like, you know what? Like finally I have my money, like from performing, whatever. I'm gonna buy a table all the way in the front. Like those are my idols. Like to go see Los Tigres. So, like that was my dream to see them like up front.
Yeah, of course.
So they went to the rave, and I went to see them. I bought my table, y en cuanto salieron, I was just like, damn, like I'm like really here, you know? It was like a dream come true. So at the rave, obviously you have like it's like easier access to the stage. So I was literally like this, just like watching them,
Holy
like
shit.
resting on the stage. So then I remember Hernan, the bass player, that's especially always been my idol. He noticed que I was singing all the songs, and I was like excited and todo eso, y no se me despegaba cada rato. He'd have his bass y me lo repegaba, and like, o sea, like he noticed I was like having a good time.
Yeah.
So, and that was when I was just like, man, you know what, like I'm not gonna lose anything. So first I took off my tejana and I gave it to him. He wore it for like 3-4 songs, no se la quitaba.
Damn.
Ya me la regresó, Y le digo, hey, like, ¿puedo cantar una canción con ustedes? I was like, es mi sueño, like, yo soy cantante. Like, I wrote it down. And then he, like, read it, and he was like, yeah, bate un poquito. I was like, oh, like, when he said yeah, I was like, yeah, yes, armó. And same thing as with Julión. They bring out, like, another kid, but obviously I was 17. They brought, like, a 6-year-old to play the accordion and to sing. And, like, the dude, I don't know if, well, obviously he was 6 years old. I don't know if he got, like, stage fright or what, but he wasn't, like, really, like playing the accordion right. He was, like, more focused on the audience. So, like, obviously everyone, like, clapped for him, and Los Tigres, like, they gave him the opportunity. But I did notice he came with like, a promoter or something because they brought him from the back. So I was like, oh, okay, whatever. And I didn't even bother to ask anymore. I was like, you know what, si se hacen, yeah. He said, no. You know, no, like, no, ya no me dijo nada. Se quedaron, like, they took off their instruments y se quedaron a firmar, like on stage, people throwing stuff. Y ya firmaron y se metieron y pasó. I was like, you know what? I was like, I'm going to risk it again. Mañana, they're going to be in Waukegan. I was like, I'm going to buy another table. Let's go.
Damn.
So I ended up going the next day. We went. Y y ya pasó. Y otra vez que salen. Y luego, like, Hernan, he noticed me. Like, he saw me. Hey. He brought out his bass y todo. And I was just like, oh, shit. Y ya pasó. And I was like, all right, let's do it. Like, hay que preguntarle otra vez. So I asked him again. And he was like, yeah. Y pasó una canción, 2, 3, 4, 5. Y no. So I asked him again. And he was like, yeah, espérame un poquito. You know, and ya pasó the whole show. Yeah, they were like on the last couple songs. And I was like, hey, yo, he's like, pregúntale a Jorge, like the main singer, the lead singer. And I didn't even bother to ask him no more. I was just like, nah. So, like, I'm not going to force it too much. I don't want to be annoying. To my, this is when, I know it's true when they say que God's timing is perfect.
Porque, 100%. Is it all good, James?
Yeah, we're good. So the thing was que after the concert, Jorge, like, said, he was like, para toda la gente que se quieran tomar fotos, we're going to be taking pictures aquí a un lado. And I was like, okay, pues I could run over there, eh? I was like the third one in line.
Uh-huh.
And I told my dad, I don't know why my dad was just like, oh, okay, whatever. Like, he stayed talking to someone. Y ya yo me quedé, like, right there. I had spent all my money that weekend on tickets. So, I don't know why, like, I didn't think they were going to, like, not charge. But it wasn't them, it was the promoter, I think.
Okay.
Y hace cuenta que en la puerta,
$660, huh?
$20. They're like, $20. And I was like, fuck, like, I don't have, like, any money. Yeah, I estoy, like, acting stupid with my wallet, acting like something's gonna, like, appear.
Uh-huh.
Y que encuentro a $10 bill, pero someone had given it to me as a tip, and it was, like, from, like, the 30s or something, like, the 40s, like, a really old bill.
Special one, yeah.
So I didn't want to spend it, you know? Like, I was like, oh, de la suerte, you know? Like, I kept it in my wallet. So I just look at the dude, I'm like, nomás tengo $10. And he, like, snatches it from me. He's like, pásame. I'm like, oh, I don't know. So, yeah, I was like, it's meant to be. So, yeah, that's the only time I've ever been starstruck with the artist, bro. Like, I saw them there, and I was just like, damn, like, these are, like, the legends, you know? Like, these are the people,
them.
These are the people that I grew up, like, listening to, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, luego, like, I just, like, I said hi to everyone I see, and I was just like, oh, damn, like, yeah, que me acercan todos, we took the picture, y que me agarra Hernán de aquí, the bass player.
Uh-huh.
Y he looks at Jorge, the main singer. He's like, mira, Jorge. He's like, este muchacho desde ayer quiere cantar con nosotros. He's like, ayer estaba diciendo que quería cantar y voy otra vez. And he, like, kind of laughs. He's like, ¿te gusta cantar? I was like, yeah. I was like, pues me dedico a cantar aquí localmente en restaurantes y bares y fiestas. Oh, ok, está bien. Dice, no, pues para la próxima vez que vengamos, like, te vamos a invitar a cantar una canción. And in my head, I'm like, bro, they're not going to remember that. Like, how am I supposed to get in contact with them? So to my, like, I was lucky enough que 2 weeks later, they were going to perform in Mexico, near where, like, my family's from, in Toluca. So, like, in 2 weeks, you guys are going to be playing in Toluca, in Metepec. I was like, if you guys invite me, si se comprometen en dejarme cantar, I'll fly over there. I was like, nomás con que me invite. I was like, porque es mi sueño cantar con ustedes. And Hernan started, like, laughing. He's like, ¿en serio? I was like, yeah. He's like, ven. He's like, ¿ves ese señor que está ahí? Se llama Alfonso de Alba, their manager. He was the guy that discovered Valentina Elizalde.
Wow.
Dice, comunícate con él, mándale un correo mañana y ya we'll go from there. He's like, pero si te vamos a invitar. Ya está. I called my cousin in Mexico, my cousin Huicho.
What?
Hey, primo, la cosa está así. Los Tigres me invitan a cantar. Consígueme un boleto hasta enfrente. No importa cuánto cueste, yo te lo pago. Y le dice, ok, ya está. Y ya, he's like, vamos a ir toda la familia de todos modos. He's like, nos vamos. Ah, okay, ya está. Y ya, yeah, I emailed him not the next day, pero I got home like at 3 in the morning. A esa hora, hey, oiga, soy Dani Rea, quedé con Hernán, blah, blah. Órale, ya está. He's like, he replied like the next day, he's like, Hernán ya sabe todo lo que va a estar. Dice, pero yo no vuelo con ellos a México. He said, so you're on your own, basically.
No.
And I was like, okay, pues ahora a ver cómo le hago, right? And I flew out to Mexico, and it was my grandma's birthday. Y aproveché, and I was risking it too because it was May of 2017, and I was graduating like 2 weeks later, so I had to be in school.
Wow.
Y me la rifé. I was like, nah, I'm like, forget this. I'm gonna go, like, I'm not gonna miss this opportunity.
Yeah.
So me fui para México.
You didn't graduate?
I did,
Oh, okay.
luckily. Y I got to do my finals and everything on time. Llegué allá y mi primo, we got to the venue. Era un palenque, a 360.
Yeah.
Y I was like, where are we sitting? Y les, dice, oh, aquí. Bro, we were all the way hasta arriba. I was like, how the hell are they gonna see me? Y but the thing is que, like, o sea, it didn't look bad porque it was like, it wasn't too big of a palenque, so we got good view, but it wasn't enough, like, for them to see me. Pues.
Yeah.
Y te digo, again, like, los tiempos de Dios son perfectos porque haz de cuenta que they were performing y pues yo me agüité. Salieron, and I was just like, man, they're not gonna fucking see me, like, whatever. Y y ya fue que I was like, you know what, I'm in Mexico, it's the first time que vengo un palenque, I'm just gonna enjoy it. Si me ven bien y si no, no. Y total que llega this guy, like, to where we were at, y le hace mi primo, dice, oh, él es novio de una prima tuya que no sé qué. Oh, this cousin that we had in common, like, era su novio, so he wasn't anything to me, right? Y ya que llega, he's like, hey, ¿qué onda? ¿Cómo están? Blah, blah. Y le hace oye, my cousin, luego, ¿tú dónde te estás sentando? Dice que hasta enfrente. ¿En serio? Dice, hey, préstale tu pulsera a Dani. Dices que lo invitaron los Tigres a cantar, pero aquí no lo van a ver. And I hadn't seen the dude, like, ever. I hadn't met the dude before, nomás, hey, ¿cómo estás? Y ya.
Yeah.
Y Simón. Y like, luego, que se quita la pulsera,
Yeah.
que me la pone y dice, bájate, está ahí para allá. Bro, front row, pues. And I was just like, thank God. Y hace cuenta que, te digo, I was working at Walgreens at the time.
Yeah.
So I had printed out the picture we took 2 weeks before in Waukegan para que me la firmaran.
Sí.
Pero me ayudó porque cuando llegué allí, I started like waving at Hernán y así, como que se me quedaba viendo. And I showed him the picture y que la ven. He's like, oh, he's like,
súbete, güey.
He's like, espérate, yeah. Y ahí va, right? And I was just like, oh, yeah. Se me hizo. Y ya, they play a song, 2 songs, 3 songs, 4 songs, 5 songs. And I'm like, no me llaman. Y ya estoy yo ahí. Y no me llamaban. So I felt bad because I'm like, this isn't my ticket, someone else's.
You took the whole show?
No. Yo me subí. Like, I went back and I was just like, you know what? Like, it's not fair that, like, you know, like, he was having a good time porque estaba con nuestra familia, you know, like, vibing and everything. But at the end of the day, his ticket es ahí hasta abajo.
¿Y le costó?
Yeah. Y agarro yo y pues ya que le digo, hey, pues, ¿sabes qué? No. O sea, sí me vieron, pero no. I was like, y he's like, no, regrésate hasta que te llamen. I was like, no. Like, se me hace mala onda, pues. I was like, tú regrésate, yeah. I'm just gonna enjoy it, pues. Pero pues sí me agüité, because I'm like, bro, like, I spent my money to come all the way over here y pues no se armó y nada. Y ya, que llego yo y, me senté and they had bottle of Bucanas. And I was 17 at the time. Yeah, me dice mi primo, ¿quieres una? Una chiquita, just to, para echarme.
Yeah.
Ya que me lo tomo y hace cuenta que prenden todas las luces, like the whole, palenque.
Right.
Y agarro yo y ya que dice Hernán, bueno, dice, queremos invitar a un amigo, dice, viene desde Chicago, dice que su sueño es cantar con nosotros. Y cuando dijo así, I was like, oh, damn, like, sí, am I being like, o sea, I was like, is this for real? Y luego que empiezan and flashing the lights everywhere looking for me or whatever. And I run, parecía loco. Que me echo a correr, and even the security guards, like, se sacaron, no, like, stay away. And they, like, try to, like, fucking, like, grab me, and they're pulling me. No puedes para allá. No, me están hablando los Tigres que voy a cantar. No puedes ir para allá, que no sé qué, like, a whole little commotion. Y ya que me alcanza a ver el manager, or, like, the road manager at the time, y ya, me dice que me fuera para el baño. Ya me fui al baño, and, like, the backstage door was literally right there, unmarked ni nada. Vente. Y ya que me empieza a llevar, like, to their dressing room or whatever, me puso monitor, everything. He's like, hey, ¿cuál te vas a cantar? And honestly, yo de todas las, o sea, me hubiera podido escoger cualquiera de sus canciones, right? Because I know a lot of them. Pero my grandpa on my dad's side, él desde que I was 2 years old, he moved in with us.
Okay.
Y pues yo crecí con mi abuelito, like in my home. So cuando yo empecé a cantar, it was always my dad and my grandpa acompañándome a todos los eventos. O sea, to the La Voz Kids audition fue mi abuelito también. On the weekends cantaba en los restaurantes, lo que sea, y mi abuelito iba con nosotros. Le gustaba acompañarnos, pues.
Mm-hmm.
He was always really supportive. Y hace cuenta que cuando, I think like 2008 or something like that, fue cuando él se enfermó. He had a kidney failure.
Mm-hmm.
So they started doing dialysis on him y todo eso. So the last year que estuvo con nosotros fue cuando he got really sick. So ya no nos podía acompañar. Y y a él I don't know why, yo cantaba Mi Gusto Es, que es like a classic, pero
Yeah, 100%.
normalmente la cantaba yo con banda. Pero a él le gustaba que la cantara estilo Tigres del Norte, porque they released an album, I think, like también 2008, que se llama Raíces, que it's all covers of like really old ranchera songs. Y la sacaron Mi Gusto Es, y yo la cantaba like not too much, pero a veces la cantaba así, y a mi abuelito me decía, me gusta cómo la cantas, pero estilo Tigres del Norte. So agarro yo, y cuando me dicen cuál vas a cantar, I hadn't even thought of that. I was like, my mission is to sing con los Tigres, y estando ahí, vemos cuál canción. Se me vino a la mente, de Mi Gusto Es, because my grandpa had just passed away a couple years back.
Yeah.
Se la voy a dedicar a mi abuelito. So obviously no es una canción que los Tigres tengan en su repertorio, o sea, they play all their hits, pero esa no la tocan. Y y agarro yo, y ya que me dicen, ¿cuál vas a cantar? Le digo, Mi Gusto Es. Okay. Y ya que pone el monitor y todo, y ya que me ve Hernán, and he comes up to me when they were performing. Dice, hey, ¿cómo estás? Me da un abrazo y todo. Dice, ¿cuál vas a cantar? Le digo, Mi Gusto Es. Le dice, ¿en qué tono? Le digo, porque like to this day I'm not really familiar así como with keys ni nada.
Uh-huh.
Todo aprendí solo, pues.
Yeah.
Y me dice, le digo, ¿cómo la cantan ustedes? Ah, ok. Y ya que me presenta, aquí está nuestro amigo Dani, voy a cantar y que no sé qué. Y ya canté la de Mi Gusto Es, y pues a medio show me persiné, y like a media canción, y se la dediqué a mi abuelito. Y ya, pues ahí se fue que cuando se me cumplió eso, and I was just like, it was the euphoria or the adrenaline, I don't know what it was, but I didn't really like think I was singing with them. I was just like looking around the crowd, and I was just enjoying. I was like singing like in my living room. Halfway through the song, cuando se la estoy dedicando a mi abuelito, Hernán pats me on the shoulder, and he's like, sigo yo, de que he was gonna sing. Y ya fue que me pegó. I'm like, oh damn, like I'm really singing with them. Y ya como que medio
You woke up, you're like,
yeah, I was like, oh damn. Y ya canté con él. O sea, I harmonized with him y le gustó. Y desde ahí, gracias a Dios, se hizo una amistad muy bonita con ellos. So cuando venían, siempre la Organ My Tickets hasta enfrente, y Hernán luego me saludaba, me firmaba, whatever. Y ahorita, gracias a Dios, pues ya llevamos una buena amistad. Llevan like 2-3 times que me invitan al show, and then they pass me backstage y me pongo a platicar con él mucho tiempo. Una de las últimas veces que los vi, me dice Hernán, dice, why don't you message me or something?
Uh-huh.
Y luego, pues no tengo tu contacto. Y dice, no, dice, te voy a dar mi número de teléfono, y cuando gustes, escríbeme.
Wow.
Y this year in May, abrieron their museum en Sinaloa, de donde son ellos, en Mocorito. Y me invitaron, y fui, y estuve con ellos, like, cerraron un hotel para la pura familia, que es just their family. Y entré yo con ellos, y conviví con todos, y conocí a sus hijos, a sus nietos. Y,
What a beautiful time.
Yeah, I'm just like, me pongo a pensar, o sea, a escuchar like their music de cuando yo estaba chiquito, que veía like their concerts on TV or whatever, y ya ahorita tener ese contacto, I'm like, damn, like that's really that's the whole reason why I did it, was, you know, like to get a little taste of what that is. Y ahorita, gracias a Dios, pues ya.
Well, forget about the connection. You made a friendship,
Yeah,
a relationship. You know, it's the most important thing, I mean, in this industry,
Right.
being a friend.
Yeah, right.
And
Sure.
bro, Danny, I don't mean to cut you off and stuff like that, just because of the sake of time. We're here with the room and stuff like that, and I know we wanted to touch more just because of I know that I remember that I saw you at Las Vegas, and I wanted to touch topics about like type of party, right? Because this lifestyle's boom, 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 and you party, right?
Right.
With Natanael Cano, with Marca Registrada, with Tapia, like real quick, a glimpse of that, man.
Yeah, I mean, when was it? Well, everything, I think que fue the peak de cuando we started like living that fue cuando I was with Nuevo Elemento when I was signed with Sony.
Oh, okay.
So like we got nominated twice to Premios Juventud, and it was around my birthday. Pues yo ya tenía amistad con Grupo Firme. So we were there like for a week doing promo like with Univision, que Despierta América, like all that. Y yeah, fue like I think it was like one of the first times I was like partying with them. And I was like, damn, like it's dope. Like it wasn't even just like partying; it was like vibing with them, like having a normal conversation, like them including you in their circle, giving them my number, them exchanging numbers, all that. And I'm like, damn, like this is cool.
Yeah.
From there, they invited us to like the Grammy parties, like with Sony, con Karim León. Bad Bunny pulled up también.
Oh, you met Bad Bunny?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, dope.
Ahí tuvimos una like acercamiento.
Yeah.
Estaba Raúl Alejandro, and like honestly, like I don't really listen to reggaeton or anything like that, but I mean I know who they are, obviously. Yeah. Pero ya like fiestas así, like nos invitaron a los premios de la radio, which is like the biggest like award ceremony for regional music. Mm-hmm. It's usually in LA. They do it at where they do the Oscars at the Dolby Theater.
Oh wow.
But a few years back they started making them in Mexico City. Okay. Because of some artists that didn't have visas, work visas to come over here, right? So they did them in Mexico City. Nos invitaron a presentar un premio. And the after party fue en un hotel, en un Hilton ahí, cerca de Mexico City. Y ya fue que tuvimos pues gracias a Dios ya tenía la amistad con Gerardo Ortiz, con Grupo Firme, con Chiquis, o sea, like, me juntaba con ellos.
Yeah.
Y en una de esas fiestas, Nata, like, se subió a cantar, and he wasn't singing his music. He was singing, like, Ariel Camacho, like the music he likes, I guess.
Yeah.
Y and the artists that were there, like, honestly, they, like, after a while, they were just vibing, pues, o sea, he was just singing in the background, y, this was what, like 2 years ago, probably? So he was, like, obviously he was already really big.
Yeah.
But people, it was just artists, so they were just, like, vibing, everyone was just, like, whatever. Y ya, I invited 2 of my cousins. Y les digo, hey, me voy a subir a cantar una canción también. Pues it was just like a karaoke song, de modo que no. Y que agarro yo y I started singing también. Me aventé que hablemos de Ariel Camacho. And Gerardo Ortiz was there, eh? So I'm like, me voy a aventar una de Gerardo. I'm going to invite him que se suba a cantar. Porque pues ya lo conocía. Compajera, ahí la va. Y mato a muy temprana edad, por eso yo. Y and like, he got lit, right? Y que se sube Gerardo a cantar. Y ya estaba Nata al lado de mí. Y luego se subió Luis R. Y ya se armó ahí el desmadre. Y ya, like, estuvimos, like, actually, I've never posted that video. Huh. I have de esa noche tengo a few videos. I've never posted them. Y después se subió Santa Fe Clan. So it's me, Santa Fe Clan, Nata, Luis R, Gerardo. And it was just me there. And I'm just like, damn, like, this is cool. Like, you know, this is what I work for. Like, this is it paying off, you know, like all those like times que estábamos tocando puertas, que estuve tocando like en restaurantes que no me pelaban luego la gente que no te voltean a ver. I'm like, this is what it's for, you know? Y todavía, like, I'm not saying I made it or anything like that porque todavía there's a lot of stuff I have to work for or like levels to get at, pero I'm like, little experiences like that is like when you're like, okay, like, it's worth it.
Real.
Like, yeah, it's worth it. Like, keep doing it, and then maybe, like, después, like, people are going to want to get on stage with you, you know?
What a cool experience, man. What a cool... Nah, dude, Danny, I really wish we can have more to talk. Yeah. Like, there's a lot of stuff también.
We'll do a part 2.
Oh, it has to be a part 2 because just the sake of time también. Pero, Danny, bro, de verdad, like, the story for you, that what you said and what you've done is a true for me.
Yeah.
Seeing to you, it's like a good, I don't even know we're the same age. Why? Because the work ethic just speaks for itself.
No, thank you, bro.
And when I saw the YouTube videos that you've been doing at 11 years old, that means that you really want what you say.
Yeah, bro.
And you're doing it.
It's dope. Because now, me ha tocado, de hecho, like, when I'm performing, de que kids, they'll be like, hey, he watched you on Tengo Talento, or like, like, he used to come see you when he was, like, little, y ahorita ya, like, they're like my height. Yeah. And they're like, quiere cantar una canción contigo. Y ya me ha tocado darle el micrófono a un niño. And I'm like, that's dope, you know? Like, at the end of the day, primero Dios, ojalá y Dios quiera que everything goes well y pueda llegar a ese nivel, pero si no, like, all these experiences, they've made it worth it, you know? So, like, ahorita, I just, like, think back and I'm like, let's keep going. You never, like, if all that was possible, let's see what else
more
we could do, you know?
I like that story too, especially with your grandpa. I feel like that was very touching, a very personal experience.
Yeah.
I like that.
To this day, siempre, de hecho, ahorita voy a México, and the first thing I do, like, I go to a su tumba y, pues lo saludo, and I'm like, every time I'm on stage, me acuerdo de él, o sea, like seeing him on the sidelines. Tengo videos where I'm like performing. I'm 11 years old singing with like a karaoke. Ahí está él viéndome and stuff like that. I'm like that, like, o sea, todo eso. I know he'd be proud. Like, si Talia estuviera aquí, like, para
It's for a purpose.
yeah, para ver todo lo que hemos hecho.
Dude, Danny, no, that's phenomenal, bro. Pero, dude, hopefully we do that part 2 también. Y ahorita, pues, shout out your socials también y todo en lo que sigue.
Yeah, well, to all the people, los invitamos a que nos sigan. Instagram, TikTok, all social media like Danny Rea Music. También tenemos mi grupo Bengala. We have a live album that's actually coming out at the end of the month on the 27th. It's the first time I'm announcing it, so hopefully you guys are there to support and to share y pues a ver qué siguen in the following year, 2025.